Okay, so first of all, I'll give you the description of your task 2, okay, which is the aggregate functions. Okay, your task 2 is on aggregate function. You have to create a table and then you have to insert the values, then you have to perform the functions by using the aggregate functions. Okay, so your task is to basically description is SQL aggregate functions perform a calculation on a set of values, okay, and return a single value. They are often used with the group by clause to group rows that share a property, okay, and common SQL aggregate functions are, will learn about this. Okay, first is sum, average, count, max, and min. Okay, so these are the aggregate functions. And your responsibility is you have to create a table. Okay, you have to define the structure of the table where data will be stored. Okay, and this includes the specifying the columns and their data types. Then your second responsibility is to insert the values. You have to add the data to the table. This involves inserting rows with the specific values for each column. Okay. Then comes the using aggregate functions, which is you have to perform calculations on the data by using the aggregate functions. Okay. So by following these steps, you can effectively use SQL aggregate functions to analyze and summarize your data. Okay, so yes, now I'm going to share my screen. So this is an online compiler. Okay, you can type on Google that you can type like SQL online compiler, so you can get easily. Okay, so this is my online compiler. Now first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a table. Okay, so I'm going to create a table. Here, for creating a table, I have to use create table and then I have to use the name of the table. Okay, so name of the table in this is sales. Okay, so this is the name of the table. So for creating the table, you have to use create table and this is your table name, which is sales. Okay, yes. So here you have to type the table names. Okay, so first column name will be sale ID, okay, and its data type will be int, okay, and it will be a primary key, okay. So basically you know the data type, okay, you know there are many kinds of data type, which is int is used for integer, decimal is used for floating point number, which is for example 1.2. So here dot is coming means this is a floating point number, okay, in decimal, okay, and date is for your date format, okay, and here comes the primary key is the key, okay, in a table which is unique and not null, okay. All the elements in your primary key should be unique, okay, different, and it should be not null. There should be no null values in your primary key, okay. So here we created our first column, which is sale id, okay. This is your first column, which is sale id, and it is of integer data type, and its column are primary key, okay. So this is your primary key basically. Now we'll create a second column name, which is product name, okay, product name, and here we are using the varchar. So basically varchar is used for the variables, for the strings part, okay. Like product name will be a name, okay, it is not going to be in integer in numeric format, okay. So varchar we have to use for the literal part, string part, okay. And there are two kinds of data type, which is char and varchar, okay. Char store the limited strings, okay, and varchar stores the maximum length, okay. So we are using the varchar here, okay. This is the another data type. Now in the varchar your length should be 15, okay. The name of your product name should be maximum 50, okay. It should not exceed more than 50. Okay, then you have to use comma here after the first column name, and here again the comma. Then we write the second column name, which is quantity. Okay, so quantity, again its data type is int here. Then fourth column name, which is I'm going to write price. Okay, and its data type is going to be decimal. Okay, it is decimal. Okay, and here I'm defining the range of the decimal. Here it should be, okay, so here the range should be between the 10. Okay, the maximum it can go to the 10 value. Okay, and this is the steps, this is the steps it can follow. Okay, the gaps it can follow. Then again the comma, then the last column name, which is say date. Okay, so yes, this is your last column name. So and its data type is going to be date. Okay, yes. Then after closing part, you have to use semicolon here. Okay, so this is how you can create your table. You have to use create table. Then you have to use your create table name. So here I am creating the table of the sales, and these are the columns in my sales table, which is first is sale ID and its data type is int, and this is the primary key. Okay, then second is product name, its data type is varchar. Okay, 50 is the range. Then comes the quantity and its data type is int. Okay, and then comes the price and it is in decimal data point data type. Then comes the sale date, which is in date data type. Okay, so these are the column names. Now we'll insert a value to our in our table. Okay, now we'll insert the value. So how to insert the values? You have to use insert into function. Okay, you have to use insert into function, and here I'm writing the table name in which you want to insert. Okay, so I want to insert in the sales table, so I'm writing here insert into sales. Okay, and here I'm going to mention all the column name first. Okay, this is the format for inserting. Okay, and here I will mention all the column name first. And last column name will be your same date. Okay, so here you have to mention first column names, all column names. Then after this you have to use the function which is values. Okay, and here you have to mention all the values that you want to put in your table. Okay, so here I'm going to mention, and you have to mention in the parenthesis. Okay, so you have to mention like in this order. Okay, here sale, first of all I will write the sale ID. So first sale ID will be 1. Okay, then I will write the product name, so it's going to be product A first. Okay, now I'm going to write the quantity. Okay, by using comma, and now I'm going to write the quantity. So quantity will be 10. Okay, now I'm going to write the price. Okay, so price will be 9.99, which is in decimal data point. Then after the price I'm going to write the sale date values. Okay, and sale date value is 2024. Okay, so this is my sale date value. Okay, so this is how you can add into your tables. Now I'm going to add more rows. Okay, like similar syntaxes. Okay, first of all, see, basically this one value will come in the sale ID column, this will come in the product name column, this value will come under the quantity column, and this price and this date will come in the sale date column. Okay, So this is how it works. Okay, this is how you have to insert into your table. Okay, so now I'm going to add more rows. Okay, you have to use comma here. Okay, the third comma. Then this is your last value I'm going to add. Here will be your 4 sale ID, and your product name will going to be product D. Then your quantity will be here 7, and your price will be 14.99, and your date is going to be 2024 year, 01 day, and 01 month, and 18 is going to be your date. Okay, and last, don't forget to add the semicolon. Okay, this is your syntax. Okay, so basically this is your first syntax for inserting the values in your table. Okay, also I'm going to show you second syntax in which you can add values. Okay, so you have to use, this is very convenient. Okay, this is very easy, and the second syntax that I'm going to teach you right now, okay, which is very complicated. First of all, you have to, I would like to copy, okay, yes. So you have to use the insert into function as it is. Then you have to use the table name, okay, which is sales here. Then you have to use here values, okay. Then you have to copy, then you have to add the values, okay, here. And you have to use semicolon. So similarly, by using these things again and again, you have to use. Okay, okay. So then this is your second format. You have to use again and again this insert into function, again and again this insert into function, and this table name again and again, and values, and then you have to add this separately. So I hope you all get it, that what is the most convenient way. Okay, this is easy. In this, first of all, you have to mention all the columns, okay, in the order wise. Then you have to give the values of your column names like this. Okay, you first of all, you have to mention all the columns, then you have to give the values like this. So this is more convenient than by using again and again insert into table name values, insert into table value names. Okay, so this is your second syntax I just wanted to show you. Okay, so this is how you can insert the values in your table. Okay, so this is how our table will going to be made. Okay, so our table is already created, and we have inserted the values in our table. Okay, so now I will use the aggregate function. Okay, so first aggregate, see, this is this dash dash is used for the comment part. Okay, this is used for the comment part. Okay, now our first aggregation function will calculate the total quantity sold. Okay, now we'll calculate the total quantity sold. So how to get the total quantity sold? We have to use our sum aggregate functions. Okay. So I have told you the select statement. Okay. How to use the select statement. Okay. Now we use our sum aggregate function. Okay. So basically sum aggregate function will total your column values. Okay. So this is the this is how your sum function will work. Okay, you have to use select sum, and inside the sum you have to mention the column name that you want to sum. Okay, so I want to sum the total quantity sold. So I am using here quantity. Okay, and here I am using the as keyword. Okay, means this we have to use for showing that our sum quantity will show this title, okay, as total quantity. Okay, so select sum quantity as total quantity from the sales table. From, you have to mention your table name. Okay, okay, see, now see the result. Here is your total quantity, which is 25. Okay, so this is your total quantity. Here you can see too, if you sum all this here, 10, 5, 15, 18 and 7. Okay, so sum of this your quantity is 25. Okay, so here this is your keyword, which is as. So as we use the keyword by naming the sum, by naming the any function you are using it to give the proper name. Okay, so as total quantity. So this is your, this is due to the as keyword. Okay, so this is your label name, which is total quantity, and this is your result. Okay, 25. So some function will calculate the total of the particular column, okay, in which you applied your sum aggregate function. Okay, so this is how you can use our first aggregate function, which is sum. Okay, now we'll calculate the average price. Average price of all producers, of all producers sold. Okay, so for this again we have to use select statement. Okay, now we are using the avg, average function. Okay, for averaging, for finding, for calculating the average of the price column. Okay, price column. Okay, and we have to show our average by the label name, which is average price. Okay, and we have to mention our table name from which we are calculating the average price. Okay, so and our column name is sales column. Okay, okay, now see our second output, which is average price. Okay, so this is your average price. So basically average function will give you the average of your particular column. Okay, so this is our second, so this is our second aggregate function. Okay, so by using this function you can calculate the average of the particular column. Okay, now the third aggregate function will count the number of sales transactions. Sales transactions. Okay, so for this again we have to use select function. Okay, and now we're going to use count. Okay, so basically count aggregate function will count total, it will count the sales, number of sales transaction. Okay, and here I'm using the sale id column. Okay, and it going to be show as a number of sales, and from the table name, which is your sales. Okay, now we'll run it. One second, I'll check my code. Okay, wait. Wait, I'll check this is correct. I don't know why it's showing syntax error. This is your column name, okay, which is sale ID, and this is your as number of sales. From sales, this is correct again. Okay, so maybe that was the wrong. After the command, we can't use the word with your comment directly. Okay, we have to put a space in between. Okay, so this is your count of your number of sales transactions. So okay, so here count function will count the total of your, like how many total number of sales in your sales table. Okay, so total id, so total sales are 4 here. Okay, 1 2 3 4, so it will calculate manually like this. Okay, so by using the count function we can count the number of sales transaction. Okay, so we have to use count function for it, and in the parenthesis we have to mention the column name from which we have to fetch. Okay, so this is our third aggregate function. Now comes our fourth aggregate function. Okay, which is, now we have to find the maximum price, of product products sold. Okay, so now we find the maximum price of our product sold. So for this we are using our max aggregate function. Okay, so you know that max aggregate function will give you the maximum value of your column, okay, in which we want to fetch from that column. Okay, so it will give you the maximum value. So this is how you have to use, by using the max keyword. Okay, this is your max function using for fetching the maximum value of your particular column, and as going to be show as max price. Okay, and from you have to mention the table name, then semicolon. Okay, so this is your maximum price, which is 19.99. Okay, so you can see too. Okay, so 19.99 is our maximum price in our sales tip. Okay, now last aggregate function is, we have to find the minimum quantity sold. Minimum quantity sold. Okay, so for it we have to use the min keyword. Okay, min keyword, and we have to mention the column name, and here column name is quantity. Okay, and we like to show this as min quantity, okay, and we have to fetch from the sales table. Okay, so now we'll run it. Okay, so this is our minimum quantity, which is 3. Okay, so from this our minimum quantity is 3. Okay, so these are our common aggregate functions. Okay, so this is how you can create your table by using the create table function. Then you have to mention your table name. Okay, and this is how you can create the column names of your table. Okay, this is for sale id, which is an in data type, and this is your primary key, okay, which is going to be unique, not null, and this is your product name, quantity, price, sale date columns. This is how you can create your table, and don't forget to use semicolon in the end. Okay, then comes the insert into. So I'll show you two methods to how to insert into your table. This is your first method, and second method is that to use again and again insert into function. Okay, but this is your more convenient and easy method. In this, you have to first use insert into function, then you have to mention your table name. Okay, then inside it you have to mention the column names, all column names, okay, in order. Then you have to use values function, then you have to add the values by corresponding to the column names. Okay, and don't forget to add the semicolon in the end. So this is how you can insert your values in your table. Okay, and now comes our aggregate function, which is for calculating the total quantity sold. Okay, for calculating the total value we have to use some function. So select sum, and from quantity column we are fetching it. So in parentheses we have to use quantity, and as total quantity we want to show our sum of the quantity as total quantity. Okay, this is your total quantity from sales, from sales table. So you have to mention the table name here, then semicolon. So it will show you the total quantity sold. Okay, and for fetching the average price you have to use average function. Okay, rest all syntaxes are same, and you have to mention the column from which you want to fetch. Okay, and this is your average price, and this is your count the number of sales. For this you have to use count function. Okay, and this is your number of sales. This is your count the number of sales transaction by using the count function. Okay, then here we have found the maximum price of product sale. In this we have used the max keyword. Okay, and inside the we have mentioned the price column because we want to find the maximum price of product sold. So this is the maximum price, which is 19.99. Okay, and this is your minimum quantity sold, so we have to use min keyword for it, and we have to mention the column name in the parenthesis, and this is your minimum quantity, okay, which is your 3. Okay, so this is how you can create a table, insert the values into your table, and you can use these aggregate functions, okay, for fetching the values. Okay, so yes, this was all your task 2. So I hope this is clear.